You've definitely heard of the Internet of Things, right? Your fitness tracker, your smart thermostat. But what happens when you take that same exact technology and apply it not to your wrist, but to an entire factory, or a power grid, or a hospital? Well, that's when you enter the next industrial revolution, the Industrial Internet of Things, or IIoT for short.
So first things first, let's get our terms straight. On one side, you have the regular IoT we all know, the consumer stuff, like your Fitbit or a smart fridge. But on the other side, you've got the IIoT. And here, we're talking about connecting massive, super complex machines in places like smart factories, hospitals, and huge logistics operations. And as you're about to see, the stakes are just so much higher.
So what's all the hype about? Why is this such a big deal? Well, it really boils down to one massive, fundamental shift, moving from looking at the past to seeing what's happening right now. For decades, major industries have been run by analyzing reports from yesterday, or last week, or even last month.
And this kind of shows you the old way of doing things. The traditional industry standard, it's called ISA 95, created this really rigid hierarchy. I want you to imagine a pyramid with different departments on each level. The problem was, these levels didn't talk to each other very well. They created these isolated silos of data. Information just got stuck.
So that brings us to the big question. Why is making a decision based on yesterday's data such a problem? You might think, what's 24 hours? But in a high-speed factory or a global supply chain, believe me, that is an eternity. It means you are always reacting to problems instead of getting ahead of them. And here is the solution. This quote just nails it. IIoT is all about breaking down those silos. It connects everything, the sensors, the machines, the computers, so that information flows instantly, in real time. It's about making decisions based on what's happening this very second.
Okay, so if real-time data is the fuel, what's the engine? Well, one of the absolute coolest and most powerful things to come out of IIoT is a concept that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, the digital twin.
A digital twin is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a perfect virtual copy of a physical thing, or an entire process, or even a whole factory. But it's not just some static 3D model. Oh no, it's a living, breathing simulation that's being fed real-time data from the actual physical system. So it learns, it reasons, and it helps people make way, way smarter decisions.
And the benefits here are just incredible. Think about it. You want to try out a new, maybe faster production method? Go for it. Do it on the digital twin without risking millions of dollars in downtime. You need to simulate a dangerous equipment failure to see how everything reacts. You can do it completely safely in the virtual world. You can even train new employees on a perfect replica of the system without any risk to the live operation. It's basically a virtual playground for making industry better.
So, what's the magic that makes all this possible? Well, it really rests on 5 key pillars of technology. First up, you've got AI and machine learning. That's the brain finding patterns in the data that no human could ever spot. Then there's cybersecurity. That's the shield, and it is absolutely crucial. Cloud computing gives you the massive storage and power you need. Edge computing lets you make super fast decisions right there on the factory floor. And finally, data analytics is what turns all that raw info into insights people can actually use.
But, and this is a really big but, this whole transformation, it is not easy. And it's not cheap. While the promise of IIoT is huge, the reality is that actually doing it is a high-stakes game. It comes with some pretty significant risks and challenges.
Let's just put this into perspective for a second. When your smart thermostat at home fails, it's an annoyance, right? You have to get up and adjust it by hand. But when an IIoT system fails, say in a power plant or chemical factory, you could be looking at a massive financial loss, you could be looking at environmental damage, or worst case scenario, a life-threatening situation. The consequences are on a totally different level.
And because those stakes are so incredibly high, the hurdles to getting this stuff adopted are also huge. First, it's expensive, really expensive. Second, trying to get all this brand new tech to work with equipment that might be decades old, it's incredibly complex. Third, there's a major shortage of people who actually have the skills to do this. And finally, the minute you connect critical infrastructure to the internet, you open the door to some really devastating cyber threats.
And just to give you a sense of that complexity, we're not talking about connecting a few devices here and there. A single factory can have thousands of existing sensors and machines, and all of them need to be networked together. They all need to be taught how to speak the same language. It is a monumental task.
So you hear all those challenges, and you might think companies would be scared off. But the truth is, the revolution is already happening. Despite all those risks, the potential rewards are just too great to ignore. If we look at who's actually adopting this technology, manufacturing is clearly leading the charge. They're using IoT to slash downtime and boost performance. But you know what? Other heavy industries are catching up, and fast. Pharmaceuticals, agriculture, mining, oil and gas, they are all jumping in and embracing these solutions to make their own operations better.
So here's the bottom line. The verdict is in. While the initial cost and the risks are seriously high, the long-term benefits are proving to be worth it. The chance to dramatically increase efficiency, boost productivity, and just stay competitive is making the switch to IIoT not just an option anymore, but a flat-out necessity.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've talked about smart factories and intelligent systems this whole time, but as our most critical industries become more and more automated and predictive, it raises a really crucial question for all of us. What does this mean for the human workforce? As the machines get smarter, how do we make sure we do too?